All right, and we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Let's just let the room flood up. Okay. I share my screen. Maurizio, I got less than 2 minutes of stuff that I want to cover this morning. I
Please
can
do, man.
maybe
Please do.
wrap up everything I'm going to say into a single sentence, but I won't be quite that.
No, but it's good. It's good because essentially we had a close of a month, so we do have a new month candle over the weekend. So I think it's fairly good what you're gonna show us. So because yeah, I think there's a lot of things we talk about in terms of the monthly, like bigger picture. So that will be good, man.
Nice. All right, then. So I'm going to open this up to the chat then. Okay. Are we in a trend or are we in a trading range with Bitcoin? Trend or trading range. So you could put T or TR or range or whatever. So that's the first question to ask yourself every time you arrive. Are we in a trend or are we in a trading range? So why do we ask that question? That's the next question. Why do we start with that first question? Are we in a trend or are we in a trading range? That'll take a bit more punching in. So loosely speaking, if we're in a trend, then there's going to be more things that we can do because the market is moving and it's going upwards. If we're in a trading range, there's still things that we can do, but they're going to be different from those things as if it was trading. So it's basically kind of two buckets that you could look at. Now, when we're in a trading range, there can be different kinds of trading ranges, but primarily with Bitcoin right now, we're in an accumulation period or a re-accumulation period. So if I've been buying Bitcoin for the last 4 years, and I've just been stockpiling, just dollar cost averaging in, then these are the times now in this reaccumulation range that long-term Bitcoin investors will be reaccumulating. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And then you can start to take these ranges apart. You can split them down the middle and you can say, well, are we in the bottom part of the range or are we in the top part of the range, or are we just kind of hanging around the middle part of the range? And if we're kind of hanging around the middle part of the range, then everything's kind of boring. There's not really much going on. We're not really going up. We're not really going down. And all of that creates investor sentiment, human beings. And I think this is a massive, massive thing here to really get your head around, that we can look at these candles and we can say flip-flop, skibidi fanny, and we can draw a line. But these candles, like I was talking about the other week, these represent human beings. And you can see these human beings inside the 100X club. Panic, 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 panic. Should I have sold? Panic, panic, this, panic, that. Have you read this FUD? Have you read this FUD? Crypto's going to end tomorrow. That's what human beings do. And that's what powers the markets. So if you're a super patient, emotionally aware human being, then yeah, you're going to do really, really well long term in the markets. You might find that some people do all of their trading on the monthly chart. They take their bearings from the 3 monthly chart, they look at the monthly chart, and they look for closes on the weekly chart. So there's different pieces of information that we can take from different charts. And this is another good way to start thinking. If you look at something that's happening on the daily chart, what kind of candle do you think you're going to have on the weekly chart? And if that's happening on the weekly chart, what kind of candle do you expect to have on the monthly chart? So really, that's all I wanted to say this morning. A bit of a carry on from that psychology the other day. The deeper game of trading is always the emotional game. And that emotional game just starts from things like correct position sizing, correct amount of leverage. And those things can be boiled down to, can you sleep at night? So I see that whiff, dog whiff hat, I think that without even looking at the chart, I think that maybe pulled back by about 5 or 6%. And I see a few people in the 100X group have blown up, blown the account up on whiff. And it's like, well, how did you manage to do that then? Too much of everything, too much leverage, too much impatience, too much of your account size onto it. These big wins are out there, but it's not just about walking into the casino, throwing all your money down, not even on red or green, throwing it all down on the zero on the roulette table and saying, right, fuck it, everything on the zero, one spin. That's the mindset that we'll move away from. And that mindset's possible, as I hand over to Maurizio, by going over Maurizio's daily update videos, starting to get that feel for the market, because that's what he shows us. He shows us that feel for the market and getting in tune with the market, you know. And the 100X group, that's a microcosm of the market, you know. There's thousands of other groups that are just like, you know, the 100X, that are just a place that's full of people to bullshit about crypto. Some of those groups will let FUD run really wild, you know, and then you just have this horrible, fuddy type of environment from, you know, I mean, that's called crypto Twitter, really. But yeah, so there we go. So let's just keep building on how we approach the market. We look at the market as a psychological representation. It just shows us fear and greed, remember, and we can't count ourselves out of that fear and greed. You know, we're not this unique entity that stood over to the left going, look at the rest of the market. Okay, we want to be, because you know those old sayings like be fearful when everybody else is greedy and be greedy when everybody else is fearful. Well, those things are really easy to say, but they're more difficult to do in practice. And once you can do those in practice, that's already the next level of trading without worrying about any kind of technicals or blah, blah, blah. So there we go. There's my little psychology kind of roundup. We're in a trading range, and that's it. And I'm gonna now just dump everything onto Maurizio.
Yeah, no, well said, Ian. And yeah, for guys, like if you know, I know leverage is an interesting thing. You can get really rich, but you can get blown up really quick. So at the end of the day, you know, most of the 100X, well, will be, because it's volatile, and I never do like any leverage stuff in a volatile market, especially with meme coins. Meme coins could go up 10-20% in a day and get back 10% next day, and then get up to 50 next day. So it's very volatile. So it's very tough to actually measure the leverage. That's why I don't do it, right? Yes, definitely you can get really good at it. The only way that I do leverage is when I start doing really small time frames. You know, and you start tracking the coin about 5 minutes, stuff like that, that you can actually do stop losses and things like that. So we're gonna go through a bunch of things today, but I think this week, Ian, I think this week we're gonna do like a position sizing class. I think it's gonna be on Wednesday, and
Lovely.
so I think it's a good idea if you guys come along and figure out the way I actually split my portfolio, split risks, split different types of trades, right? Because I know Scott is doing the leverage stuff, and then I do some spot, and I will be doing some really action stuff during the next couple of weeks. So I think it's a good idea if you guys come along on Wednesday. Have a really good structure plan of how you're going to trade from now on. Like if it's a spot, if it's leverage, how do I split my portfolio, right? So yeah, it's a lot to talk about in terms of position sizing, portfolio structure, and I think you guys are gonna have fun on Wednesday. So yeah, come along and that could give you some ideas. All right, so let's get started. So Let me just share my screen. All right, yeah, perfect. So things interesting that happened over the weekend. So first of all, let's have a chat about some things that I'm seeing in Glassnode over the weekend, right? So let me show you this chart first. I was looking at it this morning. So I'm just gonna start with how Bitcoin is doing, right? Like big dogs, Bitcoin, Ethereum. The first thing that I want to see, like we have this Glassnode chart, which is basically the Bitcoin exchange balances on the exchanges. Like what is the balance of Bitcoin on the exchanges? And from time to time, we track this to see the behavior where it's at, like if it is fear or greed, if investors are putting back their Bitcoin, so they're going to sell it, or they're taking away from the exchanges. So we can see that it's a huge drop right here in exchange balance, which gives me confidence in terms of Bitcoin is not, yeah, it might not be a big sell-off. So at these times of confidence is when you should perhaps start looking at leverage, perhaps, all right? And leverage is a game that it's very difficult to play, okay? So you need to understand your position sizing, you need to start your risk. You need to understand that your account could get blown up, right? So there's a bunch of things in terms of using leverage. So this is really positive, guys, in terms of what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Obviously, you can see a massive drop in here. So there is a highly likelihood that Bitcoin will start rising, right? There's confidence around that. Same thing with Ethereum. So Ethereum, if we're looking at Ethereum, the exchange balances on Ethereum right now, same thing, it's actually dropping pretty good. Like, look at this drop. So there is confidence around this price, what that means, right? So essentially when people are taking their coins outside the exchanges, the price looks like it's holding pretty well. So can that be volatile? Yes, of course it can. But long term, it looks pretty okay. Like it looks pretty good to me on from this aspect, right? Let's have a look at the where is it? Open interests. So we'll see how it goes here. I'm seeing the open interest sort of in a range. So it's not much buyers or sellers. So as you can see, like it's ranging. So it's not much to do. I think what's going to happen here with Ethereum for the next catalyst is when the inflows of the ETFs start coming in. That's why everybody's holding off. It could be some inflows, and that could push the price above 4,000. And I think if we get the 4,000 range, I think everything is going to trigger the bull run. For how long? Who knows? But it will trigger a little bit of a bull run. We started seeing a bunch of tokens going up, so we're gonna go and look on those. So it looks pretty positive. Obviously, we have the range. In terms of Bitcoin, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Same thing, very quiet, right? Very quiet, but open interest is holding pretty well. So I'm seeing that it could start giving us a really good push up. Why? Just for the fact that if I'm looking at Glassnode and the exchanges balances, a massive drop of the weekend, like massive drop. So you can actually see when things start getting, like when the exchange balance is getting lower, prices start getting like, yeah, it's that pushing up. More than likely is because people are accepting that new price, right? The psychology around it. So I think it's quite positive in that regard. So let's go and have a look at the our charts. And let's have a look at Ethereum first. So first of all, we just had a close. Well, on Saturday we had a monthly candle that closed. So I really like to go into the monthly today, because we're going to have a look everything from the monthly perspective, from the bigger picture. Okay, So I don't know if you guys saw my video on Friday, and I was sort of waiting to see what happened on this monthly candle. And you can see that this monthly candle looks pretty bullish, right? Pretty bullish from the long-term perspective. Can this wiggle down on a weekly and a daily? Yes, definitely. But from the bullish, from the monthly perspective, long term looks really good. So the fact that people are not selling around here, it means that they could be a new catalyst when the new when the ETFs actually, like the ETF was approved, but no one has bought anything yet because they haven't gone live. It's a speculation that might go in live middle of June or something like that, but they could get delayed. You can have some news and stuff like that it could get delayed. I think that the longer the delay, the more expectations you will have, and then when people start seeing inflows, then Ethereum could get up there, and probably that will be the catalyst to hopefully that Ethereum will be pushed to new all-time highs. So I think that could be that's in the cards. Definitely, it's a high probability that could happen. So that's in terms of Ethereum. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is not as strong, but it's still holding pretty well, right? This is the monthly chart, monthly, a bit of a retracement right there. So it's actually, like Ian mentioned, we are definitely in a range. So from the monthly perspective, you can see that from March, April, May, going into this range, up, down, up, down, up, down. So I think if all the eyes are in Ethereum at the moment, but I think if Ethereum keeps going up, definitely is going to push some strength into Bitcoin. The fact that it's been 3 months above these all-time highs gives you a lot of confidence in terms of how well people are reacting on this price. We have this trade for a while, right? Which is the Ethereum Bitcoin range spread. So this one is actually working pretty good. So still, like, it came back, yeah, probably 20-25%, but now it's actually looks pretty positive to the upside. So I think a good target will be around here if you guys are still on that trade. So that wouldn't be a bad idea. So I think that's what I have in terms of Ethereum and Bitcoin, and what is the likelihood that it could happen in June. Have in mind that in Australia we do have financial year, end of financial year this on the 30th. So we might see some people that like to sell, or for just tax purposes and stuff like that. So it could be volatility. Also, this week I posted something on Thursday about some unlocks that are going to happen in some exchange, in some tokens. So have that in mind. That can have some impact this week in terms of volatility. But long term, I think everything looks good. So let's go through all our positions from the monthly perspective, and let's see where we're at. So yeah, this Phoenix, sorry, not Phoenix, Phoenix, right? It's working really good. Our position was just show here. So from the monthly perspective, looks pretty healthy. From the weekly, we enter around here. So it looks, yeah, looks pretty steady. I think it's not even that volatile, this one. So I think this one is actually working pretty well. So far, so good on that one. Pendle, we're gonna do this on the weekly, because sometimes with this new stuff, we're gonna have some new coins that doesn't even have enough data. So for instance, what I mean by that, if we have Pendle, which was launched on July. So if we look at this from the monthly perspective, look at this, it's not many months and you have no data, right? You technically don't do this analysis on the monthly. You technically use some short-term technical analysis, stuff like that. But in terms of Pendle, looks really well. I think if Ethereum's, this is very correlated with Ethereum in terms of what Pendle does in terms of the Ethereum pools and all the sort of stuff. So I think Pendle will continue moving on, still holding that trade. Let's have a look at Solana. Yeah, Solana looks still very bullish, right, in my view. So let's have a look from the monthly. This one we do have enough. We do have enough data to show you. Yeah, so from the monthly perspective, we're very close to the all-time high. So I think when Solana hits that range, everything is gonna keep going up, especially and everything is gonna go crazy, right? Meme coins, everything in terms of all that ecosystem. So far, I think Ethereum and Solana is the fight. Which one is actually more prominent? Oh, there he is. Hey Scott, how you doing?
Hey, bro. Sorry, I'm late.
No worries, no worries. Just going through some of the positions. And that's yeah. So once let me go through the positions, then you can jump in. So we have INJ and J pretty bullish, you know, yeah, definitely a huge retracement on the monthly, but from the weekly looks pretty steady. So still holding that one. It's looking pretty okay. IMX, same thing. Like all these things look pretty similar, guys. Like CFX holding pretty well. Phoenix actually this one is working pretty well. I think this one is going to break out pretty soon. So far we're holding that one as well. BNB really strong. And if we look that from the monthly, yeah, look at this. There's not much retracements. It's kind of ready to, you know, hit all-time high. So I think if we just, I think once Ethereum comes along and comes alive, I think everything is gonna keep pushing, but everything is holding pretty well. Phil looking pretty steady. Not much to say on this one, but it looks pretty good. I still like this one. Let's have a look in the weekly.
And 2021 was so big for that coin.
Yeah, 2021 was huge, and it's still there's a lot of development on this one, so I'm still holding this one. It looks okay. We have a little bit of a drawdown here, but it looks pretty bullish still. It hasn't actually broken down the bearish sort of condition. So I think, yeah, this could be really good one. If you're not in, I think I still like Phil. So yeah. Cello holding pretty well. Same thing. They're very similar. They're all very similar. It's around our entry, right? We enter on Feb. Ape is, yeah, the only one that sort of kind of, but yeah, the fact that it's actually on the bottom right there, you can start seeing some liquidity coming in. Yeah, it's one of the things that this Ape thing could recover pretty fast, pretty quick, which is AOS actually is doing really well as well. Rune.
What about AR?
Getting up there.
The AR.
AR.
Compare AR to AOS and
AR actually, yeah,
Good.
getting up there. Yeah, AR is one of the, like we got in last week around here. So we had a little bit of retracement, and yeah, this week was pretty positive, pretty good retracement. So I think this one is going to be the first breakout of the AI stuff. And we're very close to listing price as well. So once this one hits listing price, it's highly likelihood that this will continue on. In terms of all of them, W is actually getting up there, which is all the airdrop coins. We might talk about it. Ton is actually pretty good. Yep. So I think with Ton, there is this other one that is called Not. I don't know if you guys seen Not. Let me show you. And this is what I think is because now it went nuts. So Not. Let me show you on the daily. So Not. I wanted to actually get in around here, but I didn't. But this one is actually went nuts, a huge retracement, and I think it's a lot of profit taking. So this profit taking, more than likely is going to translate into Ton. And that's probably why when you see this profit taking, and now we see our position on Ton, it actually working pretty well. So the more that one actually goes volatile and people take profit, I think it's going to help our position on Ton. So I'm holding that one still, pretty good position on that one. We did. Let's talk about WIF because we went into WIF on May, and yeah, we got into some people actually got liquidated. like I say, we went into spot market on this one. Why? Because it could get very, very volatile, very, very volatile. It still looks pretty good long term. Like it went up pretty, like substantially, like from our entry, it went up 19%, but now we're down 6% from our entry. So have that in mind. If you get liquidated at 6%, guys, you might be using like 80x, and it's pretty high leverage, especially with these tokens. Like any meme coins.
Oh man, that's just
Yeah.
It's not. It's not that the coin is good or bad. It's that it's like Sol on steroids. So Sol goes up, it goes up. Sol goes down, it goes down.
Exactly, and obviously have that in mind, right? With this type of leverage, when you use leverage, I wouldn't use leverage, or if you use very low, like 2x or something, or have some stop losses in place, or things like that you can actually.
So what Maurizio's
Otherwise,
beta is
Yep.
effective leverage. Right. So when you use leverage on a coin with high beta, you're using effectively leverage on leverage. And it's not like using twice as much leverage. It's like using multiply. So whatever the beta is, and I happen to know the beta of WIF to Sol is about 1.5. So every time Sol goes up 1%, WIF goes up 1.5 on average. So you're already at one. So if you use 3x leverage and you're already at 1.5x beta, it's not 3x leverage, it's 4.5x leverage, really. Which is all
Mhm.
which is
Yeah. And for instance, if you're going to use leverage, manage it well. So for instance, if we went up 10 or 20%, take some profit, take all the leverage out, get the profits, and then get the rest without leverage, and you will not be liquidated or anything like that. So if you see a massive jump, 10, 15, 20%, take all the leverage out, and then you get the profits. You can actually I'm gonna run like a position sizing thing on Wednesday. So I think come along, guys, and I think there's ways to manage your portfolio differently without, you know what I mean. You don't hold much stuff on leverage, otherwise, could be really dangerous. So that's on Wave. A
that's
really good one
what
that
we're
we got.
covering in this week's Thursday webinar. Friday.
All right. Okay. Sweet. We got into Foxy on Friday, Scott, and
Yeah,
what's working. Yeah, looking pretty good. So for those ones that got on Foxy, I think Foxy, I could go really, really high. So over the weekend, it looks pretty good. This chart looks amazing in terms of, now we're in price discovery. Obviously there's some profit taking here, but it could wiggle, and then this could keep going if Ethereum keeps going. All the meme stuff is just pumping. So
Explain to the guys what you mean by price discovery, because that's a really important concept.
All right. So price discovery, where it is when the coin gets listed, it gets listed a certain price, and then this is the first day that the coin gets listed on whatever exchange. It could be Bybit, Gay.io, whatever. So on listing price, then there's going to be this wiggling around, people that are selling at this level because they got the coin on an airdrop or whatever, and then they just want to sell it, cash out or whatever. And then it goes into this wiggling, but then this is the first day that actually that the coin actually gets listed. You can actually see that that's the price that it held up, right? Now, the highest that went that day was around this level. So what that means is at some point that token got into this price and came back. People sold it, right? Because they wanted to cash out. They think, that's too high, whatever. So when the price goes above this line, this price that has ever been, this is the highest price that token has ever been. So you don't know, or no one knows what that price is actually worth, what the token is actually worth. So this token goes into this price discovery. Why price discovery? Because this could get as high as what people think they could buy it at, right? So they could go as high as here, for instance, but then let me just do a line here. This could go as high as here, and then it could come down, right? Why? Because people say, no, I want to sell it, and then come down, and then what happens is the people that bought here say, oh no, this is gonna go to zero, I'm gonna sell, I'm gonna sell, I'm gonna say half. So it goes into this wiggling around at some levels, and it enters into what we call price discovery. What's the price that actually people are willing to actually buy that in the next stage, right? And this could wiggle around for how long, who knows, right? Until the next sort of news about Foxy comes around, airdrops comes along, things like that. So that's the price discovery is pretty interesting measure to see if people are selling or people are holding or new buyers are getting in, and then that's what prices what pushes the prices up. Right. So yeah, Foxy, if you guys got in on Friday, I think this could get really high, especially the way the memes are going. I want to talk about Ondo. Ondo is just working really amazing. Ondo, it is from our entry. This is one. I think this is one of the best trades we've done. Pretty good. 2 entries. We're really out there. I think it still has a lot of potential. But the good things I'm going to talk about this one. We've been on for a little while, and now it's getting out there. We have some resistance about this, and I think the recovery happened because now is doing a partnership with Ondo. So I think this, if you're not in this one, I think this could be a really good one to get into. We enter here on.
What's the market cap of this now?
That's a good question. Let me check it out.
You can get market cap by NCAP : OM.
Right here.
Yeah. No, you just put it in instead of OM/tether, you can just go OM.
There's no, there you go. Yeah, there's not for some other ones. Yeah. 684 mil, roughly.
That's right.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So yeah, I think this one could, if you're not in this one, I think this one could actually follow Ondo. Could get a push up. So definitely that could be an option. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of all our positions are working well. Let's have a look at INA as well. So someone was asking about INA. So INA, yeah, getting up there, bottom out here. But I think this range right now it looks really important. So I think on the break on this one, I think it's going to continue on all the way up to probably up there. So I think this could be a really good entry if you haven't entered Nina. Still like it, still holding that one. So yeah, so far so good. So far so good on all our positions.
So what's your overall, like, what's your feeling about the overall market? Because what we're seeing now is early winners starting to make themselves known even before the broader market's broken out, right?
My brother feeling is actually positive. So I was at the beginning of the call, I was showing the guys this on Glassnode, how look it's called. So massive drop on the exchange balances.
Okay,
I know.
So you want to explain that to the guys?
Yeah, we already went through it. So we already went through it. Yeah, we're already through it. So it's very interesting that this drop happened the last couple of days, right? So very, you know what I mean? So that's why I think, what I think in terms of Ethereum is that we're waiting for inflows into the ETF, that it might happen in the, middle June, I think that's what they say. And I think that will trigger, that will be the new catalyst of Ethereum. That could be a good probability.
Have you been tracking inflows? Because they flipped up again in the last sort of week. They just
No, not yet. Let's have a look. Where are they? Should have it, yeah.
It's side.co.uk.
Which one? I use
Oh.
this one. Yeah. Should we have here? Let me find it.
Yeah, let me post it in the chat.
There you go. All right. So let's go with the community. This is the community.
Yeah, you can see that it's flipped up again.
Definitely, and it's going up pretty strong. Definitely. All right. Yeah, that looks pretty steady. That's probably why you see that drop on the exchanges sort of thing. So I think that's that makes a lot of sense. Definitely.
So to explain this, what this means is that it acts like a turbo. If it's going up, it acts like a turbo boost to the upside. If it's going down, it acts like a turbo boost to the downside. So it's a double-edged sword.
And the thing here is we don't have this for Ethereum yet. Why? Because it hasn't, like the spot hasn't gone live. So that's going to be interesting as well in terms of when the spot goes live and see how much uptake we have in terms of inflows. But it's going to have some uptake at least some sort of capital. How much? That's kind of the question, right? So yeah, it looks everything looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty good. I don't know if you want to go over some stuff, Scott, or
Sure, I'm gonna take a look at a few memes, but
yeah.
really I wanted to make the point that while we're in this kind of trading, we're still in a trading range until we conclusively break out of here, or until we conclusively break out of here. I don't know why that's not working, or down here, we're still in a trading range, but we're seeing early signs that the trading range break is probably going to be to the upside. Now, I'm not expecting it to break solidly in the next week. What I am expecting is to start to get into gear and start to look like it wants to go again. We've had enough of this sideways bullshit. It's this has been completely sideways, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down for a week. That's very boring. I think it's going to flip from boring to progressively more exciting and give us the advanced clue that we're going to break out. I think we're a little bit ahead of the curve, and we see the fastest horses, the good horses, the Ondos and the shit like that, starting to break out in anticipation. I think even though on a technical analysis basis, this is still a coin flip, I think the odds are solidly in our favor here. I'm really glad I'm positioned. As far as memes go, Retardio's doing nothing, but what I really like about it is all through this down part, we've seen people unwilling to sell it down. This to me is a sign that there's a community of holders who are degenerates, and I'm very, very comfortable that we're going to see this thing at definitely above 10 cents, and this is my first target for profit taking is 10 cents. The Trump means sure, it's fine now. You don't need to get out of my hammer. It's your house. So Trump looks.
Hang on, I took the hearing aid out, so I wouldn't hear what you're
My mum's deaf. It's like
you were thinking about it, and I have the hearing aids in.
it's okay, Ma. I wasn't talking to you. It's okay.
Right, yeah, I can half hear now. I got one hearing.
It's okay, Ma. I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, you weren't talking to me.
No, not at all.
All right.
Okay.
So can I take my hearing aid out?
You can take your hearing aid out, Mama.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Love my mum. So we've got a very nice break to old highs. You should have some selling around there. We've got consolidation. This one's going to go. I just keep reminding myself to not paper hand this thing. We bought it way the fuck back here. Got a 5x. It's going to be a 50x. I think there's 10x more here. Market cap 118. So easy. This one is just an obvious one. And Bowden is also an obvious one. This is the right retracement. If you want some Bowden, now is the time to buy Bowden. Bowden is the leading Joe Biden meme. I don't think Bowden's going to win the election anymore. I think I think what they did, I'm a lefty, and I think that what they did to him was, what they did to Trump was pretty unfair, and it's probably going to gift the election to Trump. So that's why Bowden's down. But you can see that as people are selling it and getting on the Trump train, it's not going down. So this is a very low risk entry point. You could sell it off if it closes below here and risk not very much. It's got a $185 million market cap. There's no reason this couldn't be a $5 billion market cap heading into an election if we get a bull market. Let's take a look at the big news in memes is that stupid fucking bitch. Mother, this is Iggy Azaleas and big retracement. So if you get these new memes that look kind of like this, where they're going down, but they're going down with buying pressure. This is kind of a good spot to buy. And this one just banged. This was a 10x overnight. That's done. It might have another run, but you know, people start taking profits at a 10x in 2 days. Compared to Iggy, which is the scam coin that she launched first. Yeah, fucking great, you idiots. Look at the 1 minute chart. One minute the snipers got in and they sold it off. So that's a scam. What's the other one, people? Oh, Floyd. Now, Floyd has done 12 consecutive rugs. He's launched NFTs, he's launched coins, he's launched every fucking thing. He's rugged every single time. And he's come and said, oh, I promise I won't rug this time. The fuck you won't. The fuck you won't. So don't trust these celebrities, dude. And the other big news, fucking have a go at this bitch. Caitlyn fucking Jenner. Let's look at it on a 1 hour chart. There she is, rugging. Oh, I won't rug you. I rug my whole gender, but I won't rug you. The fuck she won't. So these celebrity memes, in my opinion, Iggy might have a chance, like if she, but the rest of them, these are just fourth tier kind of shit things. You shouldn't be involved, in my opinion. Aside from that, what else have we got going on? I want to take a look at. Let me just read this. So our overall total market cap of altcoins is still, pretty sideways, but we're seeing the early leaders in like Ondo, and you can see the volatility is way low. So a really great time to be positioned is always when volatility is low. You can load up the leverage when volatility is low, have stop losses, bam, going to be good. If you start to get in when volatility is high,
Well, looks
I
like
think
we've got frozen screen there then.
Yep, I think we lost Scott. Yeah, let's see. Let's wait for 1 minute. If not, I'll explain what he was. Yeah, Aaron, I think that's a rather nice shot. All right. So what Scott was saying, as you can see, the ATR, the average true range, the volatility, it measures the volatility. So let me just bring out my chart. Give me 1 second. All right. So if we have gone back to,
sorry guys.
there is.
Yeah, I think Wi-Fi died here. Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so what else was I going to say? Alts are gone sideways. I think I think we're on. I think we're on. It's just a waiting game until it breaks out. Let me share my screen. Will I make a FinRev coin? No, I'm not that kind of greasy guy. So you can see my last 30 days of it's just been steady and up a little bit, and not very much going on. What do the leverage trades I've got going on now? Tiers, break even, the rest of them are doing fine. Started with 10 3 weeks ago, and now it's 25. That's about normal. I'm expecting it all to break out to the upside pretty soon, to be honest. I'm just hanging tight, waiting for that. I'm at, what am I at? 3x leverage. I could probably bump that a bit more if I had tight stop losses, but I don't really want to be a dick for a tick, you know? Yeah, Ian, have you got anything, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I started the call when you were still in bed, Scott, you know, some of us were working, so you missed my bit. No, my bit is mainly around the trading range that we're in. I'm really digging the psychology of the market. So that was a bit that I started off with. If I get Bitcoin back up again. I mean, exactly as you said, you know, we're in this trading range, however you look at it, the daily, the weekly, you know, or the monthly. Let's just get up this weekly for the moment. So it's like there is a midpoint to this range, roughly where the cursor is. And whilst we're in the top half of this range, let me just move stuff. Whilst we're in the top half of this range, then I think you've got that investor sentiment that's still fairly positive. You know, we haven't dipped below that midpoint for a few weeks now. You know, we could be printing these higher lows. We could be heading towards the top of the range. I'm feeling good. Bitcoin could be going. If we go into the bottom half of the range for a few days and that turns into a week, then I think that the investor sentiment starts to flip. Oh, shit. Maybe we're not going up anymore. Maybe we are going down. And then we're in an accumulation range. So who's accumulating right now? The people that have been accumulating Bitcoin from day one, the people that are dollar cost averaging, the people that are patiently looking at this thinking, I can snipe a better entry. Look at all those downside wicks. So downside wicks are fear, you know? So I think that we've got a trading range, which by itself is not very exciting, but I think there's two halves to that trading range, the top half and the bottom half. And I think that you're getting a completely different mental, psychological thoughts around it, depending on where we are within that range, which is an accumulation range itself. So those are my kind of main thoughts as to what's going on with Bitcoin and what's going on in the headspace of the majority of, let's say, retail investors, of which we can see the reaction within, say, the 100x coin club itself, depending on the kind of comments that you're getting in there. You know, it's like that microcosm of, are people really happy with Bitcoin, or are they kind of indifferent to it, or are they kind of pissed off? And obviously for all, there's a thousand other groups like the one, not as good as, but like the 100x, where similar conversations are happening. So I think we're in the top half of the range at the moment. I think the investor sentiment is pretty good. If we look at the altcoin market cap, which we have, you know, that's starting to rise as well. So there's lots of positivity, but I think that we're so finely balanced that we dip into that bottom half of the wick, and I think we can immediately get that, oh, well, now I'm not happy. Now Bitcoin's going to fail.
And I want to make the point that what you want as a long-only investor is not to feel like everything's great. When you're feeling like everything's great, generally you're about to get fucked. What you want as a long-only investor is significant fear, uncertainty, and doubt. This is always the way. You
Yeah.
don't want it to be sunshines and we're all going to make it, boys. As soon as we're there, history tells that we're about to get fucked.
Absolutely, yeah. So if I'm looking at this Bitcoin chart and I'm thinking about sniping more Bitcoin, well, I've got multiple orders that are in. Do I think we'll get all the way down here? Well, I don't know. I haven't got a clue at all. Would I put a wild card entry bid in there? Yeah, I probably would, yeah. But then that would be laddering the bids. But then I wouldn't start really to ladder those bids until we got a little bit more information about what we're going to do in this middle part of the range. You know, we might just move along this middle range for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and it'd be really boring because we're not going up and we're not going down. So yeah, I'm just excited to observe what is going to happen and then keep on trying to get in tune with that. What is the bulk of the market feeling right now at this stage? You know, have people already, I mean, generally speaking, which is a horrible way to introduce something, if you know what I mean, we're still so early to crypto that people that are buying crypto now, you know, they don't know anything about a 4-year cycle, a cycle or anything. You know, they've just bought this Bitcoin thing and now it's not doing anything. You told me this was going to go up. It hasn't done anything. Ugh. You know, you got that kind of sentiment going on. You got a bunch of other people that are waiting for that sentiment to materialize in a way where they can buy cheaper Bitcoin.
I think that's a really interesting point you made right now, that more people are going to be shaken out through boredom than overprices. Oh, you told me this was going to be fun and exciting. You told me we were going to have good times and laughs. And no one's losing any money, but no one's making any money, and it's just boring. Bored coin. Exactly, Perry.
Exactly.
I think that's going to shake a lot of motherfuckers out of this.
It will do, yeah. I mean, this is a forever game as far as I'm concerned. This will be turning and burning long after I'm not. So you don't have to make everything today. You don't have to be a millionaire today.
Well, what you do have to do is not get shaken out of the game.
Exactly.
You build 100 bridges and you suck one cock, you're not a bridge builder anymore. One lousy cock, out of the game.
I mean, yeah.
This is true. My pit trader friend says he used to hear that in the options pit every single day. That was words to live by in the options trading pits.
It truly is. I mean, my friend Monty that I've mentioned a few times, you know, he's in finance as like a mortgage broker, insurance guy, so he considers himself a finance guy. Not interested in Bitcoin at 16,000. He was interested in it at 74,000. And now, bless him, all he's done is just erode that initial principle by jumping from Bitcoin to a shit coin to this coin to the next coin thing. Now he's telling me that half of his initial money's gone and he's bought, you know, and he's just pissed. I think I'll just wait a bit. So I'm going to take, and now he's almost out of the game, you know, and I'm not pleased because he's a friend of mine, but I think that is the situation that has been repeated by millions and millions and millions of people. 16,000 Bitcoin, fuck that, no. 74,000, now that's a tasty meatball. Yeah, I mean, what's happened? It keeps going down.
This is a story as old as time, dude. This is a story as old as time. I mean, Coco just recently is a perfect example.
Which one, sorry?
Coco.
Oh, yeah.
Coco, yeah, Coco trade, yeah.
In that trade, and then, I mean, that went down a lot, didn't it?
Went down a lot, but it went up a lot first.
Definitely.
I just sent a $750,000 deposit on my house, and Coco paid for it. So black gold
Foundations and roof.
Yeah, it's I've been in the getting fucked by Coco business the last 2 months, but thankfully I pulled enough out to buy a house out of it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, that's been a fantastic hour. Just check for any kind of final comments. Or if there's any last minute charts. Otherwise, I think we'll probably draw a line under it.
Stick a fork in it. We're done, boys. Hey,
Yeah.
really cool. Thanks for carrying it, Maurizio and Ian.
No, it's not.
Awesome. See you Friday, everybody, for the next installment of the leverage.
See you, lads and ladies.
See you guys.